If you have trouble remembering exactly what was in each chapter, I know I had a couple people that I graded that didn't have all of their chapter five stuff. Let me on the class list, for some reason I had it in first name order, so I don't know how I managed that. So I got down through the B's was at with Brittany, and so I should have gotten the others looked at. So we will, I think next was going to be Faith, so I didn't get to yours yet or something. I did Brett. Is Brett here? No. All right. So this was the one that I had some people not get all of that put in for some reason. Part 1, you were supposed to do page 192, number 2, A and B. And then I also had you do this problem, the part B of 3A. Seems like we had one more. And part 2 was here. Part 2 was to do, oh, that was the part B of this problem, was part 2, right? Yeah. The first part of the chapter work for chapter 5 was this one up here, 2A and B. Right, then 6, I think that's where there was some confusion that I didn't, which was up here further, because I just gave you a total of 10 points, and if you did, this one was part 1, number 1, A and B, and then part 2 actually had, and I didn't split it out in the grade sections, it just said 10 total points, and so part 2 had this one, and it had number 7. So there was actually 3 different problems that you did to get the 10 points. So if you got 8 points, it was because you forgot one of them, and if you want to go back and put it in, then that's what I'm telling you can do now. And then I'm hoping some of this helped you guys. If not, here's what I did. I put yesterday, this is the one we're going to start with assignment 4. See if I can, because I don't know if I think I have it on. No, that's not where I have it. I'll put it in here. Class examples, I think. I think those are on the Google, though. Class, where'd that? Chapter 6 examples. Now, where did I put that one that says class examples? Okay, let me go to where it downloaded it again. It was telling me, and where is that? Inside of documents, maybe? Maybe that's where I put it. There. I do not see where it went. Class examples. There we go. Now I can find it. CIT 13, spring 14. Well, that's on the Google, so why? Okay, Google CIT spring 14. CIT 11, 13. I can't seem to find that folder that says, okay, I'm missing one folder that it must be in. Maybe it's in.
It said it was in a folder called Chapter 5 Array Examples.
Chapter 5 Array Examples? Okay. Oh, this one. And then class examples. Thank you. Okay, so this is it right here. Okay, so this is the one that I gave to you yesterday, and some of you probably already had it completed and some did not, and so you may not have approached it the same way. but this is actually where we took the one from the exercise or the previous assignment, assignment 3 with the loop. And so it had using the discount of 85%. So remember on this, you could have chose to use a discount of 15% and multiplied it times the original price and then subtracted it from the original price. But if you wanted to leave out one of those calculations, then you could use the discount of 85% and just take that times the original price. Does everybody understand the difference where people, any questions about that? Where you could do it either way. But in this particular one, we used the discount of 85%. Okay, so we've allocated the array here, array subsize, so we have to be sure that we initialize size up above. And then variable day equals 1. You could use any kind of counter you wanted there. That's to keep track of the days, because the way this particular one, without changing much of it, that I could figure out how to do it without changing a lot of the loop, is we had 2 counters. So this one was just so that when day printed out, it printed out at 1 instead of 0, because my counter is set at 0 so that the array starts at the 0 position, right? Okay, so here's where I set original price equal to 0, day equal to 1, original price equals, please enter the original price of the t-shirt you want to purchase or 0 to quit. And while original price is not equal to 0. So this is where I have my priming input. I ask for the original price. Then as long as it's not equal to 0, then I'm going to print out original price of shirt. And this line is not necessary. That's just, I mean, the program will work without this line. This is just for formatting to make it look nice, okay? It says original price of shirt, $ original price. So we're printing out the original price right after we've taken it in. But my for loop, and here again, if you choose to use a while loop, it's not incorrect. It's just that this is a definite loop, right? So a definite counter-controlled loop, a for loop is the logical one to use because you can put all of the code in one line, right? Okay, so for var counter equals 0, see I did not initialize counter up here because I was using a for loop. So I just said var counter equals 0 as long as counter is less than 3. Because if I say less than or equal to 3, it's going to go beyond the array, right? Because it'll go 0 through 3. Then increment counter. So here's my for loop that's going to take the original price. It's equal to the original price times the discount. So that's going to give me the discounted price actually here. So you may want to choose a different name for this field, but you don't have to. So here is simply all this statement is doing is putting whatever I calculated into the first position of the array, right? So so counter is 0 the first time through. So let's go through. Actually, I'm going to see if I can get my app to work again because I figured out how to do it, I think. Where did that app go? What was it called now? I remember. I thought it would still be up here, but it's not because I shut it down. That's what happened. Okay, come on. Oh, I don't want the app store. That wasn't what I wanted. This is what I wanted. There it was. Okay. So if I'm going to have my array, I'm going to start over here with my array. And it has 3 positions in it, right? Kind of large array there. Okay, the name of the array, what did I allocate the array to be? What was the name of the array? Is right here, price, right? Okay, so I'm going to go here and say PRICE. P, that's the price, and I should be able to move it up. Oh, that didn't work. I did this, made it work earlier. Okay, so I'm going to go back to here and say PRICE. So that's the price. And then if I want to put my numbers in here, this is position 0, position 1, and position 2 of my array. All right, so I take in a price and or original price. So down here is original price. I'm going to say original price, ORIGPRICE. And let's say that the first time I put in the, when I changed tools, it went away, huh? The first time I put in original price, it's 1760. Oops. Oh, let me put a dot there. 65. Because that's the first price that I tell you to put in. So after I put in original price, I prompt for original price. It's not equal to 0. I output original price here to 1765. That's what should go on my screen. Set counter to 0. And original price, what is it, times discount? So what's the first figure that goes in here? It shows on my assignment sheet. What was the first one? It was like 12 something or 15 or 15. Yeah, the first one's 15. So I'm going to put it in slot 1 here. 15 in position 0. All right, and then it says this is the statement actually that puts it in that position. Then I print out day, which is day is equal to 1, so it's going to say day 1 is $ price counter. It's a break, right? So this one is going to print out $15, and then increment day to 2, and then it's going to increment counter to 1. So it's going to come through, calculate the second price, and put it in position 1, which that's 12 something, isn't it? 12, I remember, something like 1265, 75, okay, 1275. So then it's going to go down, print day 2, and it'll print 1275 out, and go back up, increment day to 3, and increment counter to 2. And so then once it calculates that price, what's the third one? 10 something, Matt?
1084.
Okay, 1084. So that's going to go in there. Oops, 1084. Okay, so that's 1084, and then original price. So then it's going to increment day to 3. I mean day to 4, because it was already 3. And it's going to increment counter to 3, and so it's going to drop out of this loop. Ask for another price, and if we put 0, then when it comes back up here, it's going to drop out. So now the only thing that the assignment asks you to do is, instead of printing this line out now, we're going to close this for a second. So now instead of printing this line, document.write line, we've got to put this into a function, right? It's the only thing that you have to do. So we would comment this line out, or you don't have to comment it out, but let's say right after it, we're going to make a call, and we can call the function whatever we want. Let's say price print, okay? Price print, so that's the call, and we're going to pass the array called price, right? So that's the call to it. Now, some people, the one that I looked at, a couple of them that I looked at, they put this line in, but they never coded their function. So there was no place for it to go, all right? So I can put my function, up above here. So I would say function, and then I would name it whatever I called it, price print, and then I can put whatever I want, print array, and then I open the function, and so then the function, I can actually just, what do I need to do? Somebody tell me. Did anybody finish it? Anybody do the function? Amelia. So what do I do next? I did function, price, print, print array, and so what do I want to do in this function?
Okay, hang on.
Oh yeah, I can just
You
open it.
move the document.write line. Just move it up to the function.
Yeah, okay, if I move the document, but don't I have to execute through the array though? So you're right, I do put the document.write line up there.
You need another counter.
But I'm going to have another counter. So here if I take this, like Matt said, that does go in there. But first I need to set up a variable counter, right? Var, let's just call this one count equal, do you initialize it?
No, because you need it for a while loop.
Okay. You need to print it. Oh wait, here's day. Did you use it here in your document.write line, or here? Here, let me open yours.
I mean, I did mine with a while loop, so.
Oh, you did yours with a while loop?
Mm-hmm.
In the function.
Yes.
Okay, did anybody else do it different? Anybody use a for loop? Ben, I thought that was right. Okay, Ben. Okay, let's see how you did. Because for loop is a counter. Did you use a while loop all the way through, Amelia?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I could not get my for loops to work.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Ben's is. Wait, is yours in chapter 5?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't actually know which one to put in.
That's okay. All right, so you did yours. Let's see how yours function is. Okay, where's your, at the bottom. Yeah, you can put the function at the top or the bottom. Okay, so he did for var I, and so actually you didn't even change the document.write line, and we'll have to change this to make it work in ours, but not much. Okay, so you did yours here. We'll have to change our array name because I called it print. Oh, I meant to say array. I'll change this up here to array. Print array dot length increment I document dot write line. So this has to change to I, right? Did you have day in there?
Yeah, mine was,
Oh, you must have done it up above here. Day is equal to, oops, 1. I did that wrong. There we go. Day is equal to 1.
then you took day out.
You took day out of
Yeah,
here.
And redid it as, yeah, I
Okay, let's look. Let's see how you
think
did.
what I became.
Yeah, I plus 1. Okay, I see. So what he chose to do was to say I plus 1 plus,
So it started at 0 for,
yeah.
yeah, alright, so instead of
And why? Oh, I plus 1 right there. Okay, so that way he, instead of this, we did this. So this is one way. And then I've got to end my function, right? Oh, and this shouldn't be price. This will be print array, right? In my program, print array. Sub I and break. Anybody see anything else? Did anybody use did you use the dot length, Amelia, even though you used a while loop?
No, I did not.
Okay, so this one,
I just used the 3 as a constant.
3 is a constant. Okay, let's look at yours too. And yours was in 5.
Programming assignment 4.
Okay,
My
so
question's at the top. So.
yeah, so here's another way to do it. Variable day, variable index. There's a little bit more initializing. But while index is less than 3, she just incremented through her array, looped through her array. So this is the kind of loop that we saw before. But actually, if you use a for loop, you see that there are less lines of code, only 2 lines of code, right? So if we do this one, let's make sure that I've got it coded correctly so it'll work. Save. The original price was 7.65 that I wanted you to use. What was the next one? 15 that I told you? No, 12 something I think I said to use.
12.50.
Maybe 12.50. Okay, and that was the next one. Oops, how did we get undefined? Find. Okay, the only one that worked was the day 1 is $15 on all of them. Okay, so something happened on this one. Probably some of my variables are wrong. Let me just download yours the way it is. Oops, if it'll let me get out of this. 0. There we go. Okay, so let me go over here to the actual one that you did was this one. Okay, 17.65. Oh, I see where you had something to test it, right?
I didn't realize how to mess with that.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
Okay, there it is. And then a 0. Okay. And it works. So all you have to do to this one is to take your alert out is just comment it there. There we go. Now we're out. Now, this one, let's see, you did a while here and a while there, but the only place you used a for loop was in the function. Okay, I'll put a couple of these out there. Let's see, where's Amelia's? Here's hers. Okay, let's run this one. Price of 17.65. T-shirt price. I don't remember if it's $12.50, but we'll just say it was. And then 0, and it ends. Good job. Okay, anybody else have one that they wanted us to see why it wouldn't work, or it did work, and then you did it a different way? Anybody else?
I have a question. I did mine, but I didn't use like a loop like inside the function. I don't really see why you have to do that.
Okay, if it worked, then you didn't.
Yeah, it still worked. I just didn't know if I had to include that. Like, it was still incorrect.
It was? Well, no. Let's look at yours, ML. Let's see how you did it. Matthew, right? There's yours. Which is it? MLA4. I see it. Okay, so let's see how you did it. There's always more than one way. Let's look. Okay, so did you start with the one? Okay, you did not pass the array. Now, oh, I see what you did. You had it, day counter is cost. But why did it not print out, did it print out all 3 prices? For loop.
It prints out the original and then all 3.
Where,
It does that in that function.
see, in that function, let me see how that works. Okay, let's see. Let me try it. Price is 17.65. It printed out all 3. Oh, it's working, but I think it's by, I don't know if it's using your function. Let me look again. Okay, let's see. If we go down through, if we start, see this, I'm not sure. Okay, yours actually starts here, initializes price to 0, discount 85%, new array sub 3, index equals 0. Then it skips the function, and it should be using this. Cost sub index is equal to enter price. So index is 0, so it's putting the original price into position 0. While cost sub index is not equal to 0, write out the original price, which is cost sub index, for variable counter equal. Oh, I see what you did. Huh, that's a. Do you guys see what happened? Here is what he did, is inside his for loop is actually in his main. He just made the one statement document.writeLine to be in a function, so he didn't pass his array. He didn't have to pass his array that way.
I mean, is that like the correct way to do it? Like, is that cool?
Well, that works.
Oh.
Yeah, if you go exactly, I didn't say in the instructions that you had to pass the array, right? If you read the instructions for assignment 4, it didn't say that you have to pass the array, so you figured out how to do it without passing the array. And you used a function to print. Nobody's ever done it that way before. But that works because he satisfied what the assignment was to create an array with the 3 prices in it, which is what he did with this for loop. But instead of putting document.writeLine here, he simply created a function called print with that one line of code in it.
So how would I change that to actually pass the array?
To pass the array? Okay, you would put this for loop as part of the function. And so when you called it here, you would say print cost, and you would pass it. And up here in your function name, you would name it something else, maybe discount or something like that. Discount price, discount print or something like that. Okay, so that's what that's doing now, is it's going to pass your array cost into this array discount price.
So that's all I have to do, is just
there. No, then you have to put your for loop up. Yeah, right. And then if you use the for loop, now if you notice what Ben did is he used a predefined function length for his array. So your array would be whatever you called it, dot length, tells you, that way you don't have to predetermine the length of your array, because that predefined function dot length tells you. And so it's saying quit the for loop when it gets to that predetermined length.
Oh, okay.
But I can put all of these out there, the different ways. Anybody else have one? Thank you, Matt. That was a good one to look at too. Anyone just totally need us to start from the beginning and go through it? Okay, Chelsea, you want us to go through the one that I put up here?
That's fine. I sat down trying to do it, and it just like.
Okay, like if we opened up this one again, because I have changes in it. Like if we went down to, where was the one that I put in there? Google Drive. Let me get to it again because I've made changes. There, and this one. Did it let me do it again? Or did it change? Let me close this one. See if that's the original one. Nope, that's not. That is. What's this one? Oh, that was the one I was working on of yours. Okay, it didn't let me open it again. I can't get it to let me open that original one again. Oh, I must have saved it already. Okay, so what we did, this one that's on the drive, I'd have to download it again. Let me see. If I unzip it, I probably can. Let me change the name of this one. Oops, didn't let me do that. A4 function. I'll say function is that one. If I go here and unzip it again. Okay, so here was the way it was without a function. Did you understand that one, Chelsea, the way it was set up, the one that I downloaded from Evernote? Okay, so all we have to do is put a function in there to print our array, because this program here builds the array, and what it does is prints out right after it puts it into the position. And so what we want to do, the idea was for in your function for it to go back and print the array out, because maybe you wanted to have an array of 10 different prices. You wanted to let the sale go on for 10 days, okay? So that's why it would really be better to build your array first and then have a print loop that will go in and print that array out. Okay, so that this one, what it does is no matter what, this one is going to let the array only be 3. So actually, it would have been good up here to say counter. We could actually have counter less than size also, because then I could change the size of the array up here and it would go throughout. Say if I wanted to have 5 days for the sale, right? So I could change it there. Well, I'll leave it 3 so everybody doesn't get real confused. Okay, so there's 3. So we've got a size of the array set to 3. We allocated memory to 3. We've got a discount of 85%. We set this is like a variable that the count for days we can print out. Original price is 0. So we have our priming prompt to ask for original price. And this is our outer loop, like was requested. It said first to make the inner loop work with 1 t-shirt, which you should have done in assignment 3. This part should be like assignment 3, with the exceptions of this statement right here that's putting it into an array, right? So that's the only thing that changed, and you had to allocate the array at the top. All right, so then we printed it out. So we're going to comment out this line of code right here. So now if I run it, I don't even know if it's working because I don't have any output, right? So what? Question? See, if I take that out, it'll still run 9 input, but unless I put a little alert there, I've taken my print out, right? Anyone else see what we're doing? We're taking the print out. So we have to have a function that will print it. And in place of that document.write line, that's where I would put my call to my function. Do we understand? Okay, so Chelsea, what would I put here? How do I put a call to my function?
I got really confused after commenting out the document.write line. I mean, I understand why.
Okay, we don't want to write it out just in a line. We want to put it in a function. So we can call the function anything we want. Did you understand functions in 6? Did you write functions? Okay, all right. So now I know there's others that have questions too, so just be sure and ask, because I'm not, you know, this is tough. 5 and 6 are tough, okay? So tell me what you don't understand. So right here, what we have to do is create a function. What was does it matter what I name it? I haven't built the function yet, so I can make a call to it any way I want. And this is the thing that makes methods and functions important, is that I can go in my main, and without writing the detail yet, I can go down however many functions I wanted. I could say, okay, I'm going to print it out if I wanted to do something else to the amount. After I did that, if I wanted to know, let's see, what can I do? What if I wanted the discount on it, and then I wanted to add tax to it? I could have a function to go out there and add tax to it, okay? But I wouldn't have to write the function in the main, because all I have to do is say, hey, this is what I want something to do. And then I could say to somebody else, hey, write the function to add the tax. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is write a function to print it. So I'm going to say, I'm going to call it price print. Oops, not in all caps. Don't like that. Price print. So I just made up that name of the function. Okay, Chelsea? And anybody else? Okay, so next, what do I have to pass to that price print?
The function. The array.
The array, okay. What's the name of the array here?
Just price.
Price. So I put price in here. Now, I have my call, but I don't have the function yet. I think that's what happened on yours, Brittany, was you put the call in there, but you didn't write the function. So you see how to write the function now? Okay, so now we're going to go back and write the function. So the function can either go at the bottom like Ben did it, or you can put it at the top. JavaScript isn't picky. There are programming languages that want it in a specific place, but you can't just put it in the middle of your main. Okay, it either has to be at the top. It actually can be after the initialize the variables, but it's kind of confusing to do that. So always put mine either at the right at the top or after everything else at the bottom. So here's function, and what would I code next?
The name of the function.
Name of the function. Okay, so it's price print. You get that, Chelsea? Okay. So what do I put in here?
The name of the array that's getting passed.
Yeah, the name of the array, but I don't actually have to use, I don't want to use price because it's not known as price up here. So I need to make up another array name that's only known to this function. But because I'm passing an array down here in my while, then the function is going to know it's an array because it's defined as an array here. And so any predefined functions that belong to an array can be used. That's what the length is. It's a predefined function that goes with any time you allocate an array in your main. And there are other ones that belong to arrays. Where'd you find that one, Ben?
Array?
No, where'd you find to use .link?
.link. I had to phone a friend.
Phone a friend.
Yeah, I'm not even...
I think in the examples that I gave you in Evernote, it showed that. Let me see. I think this one here, if you go to this, I thought it was a link, but it's not. I didn't make it a link. Did I? Copy. Oops. Let's go 0. All right, so if I go this one, and I said to scroll down to where it said iterating, this one may not be the one that I'm thinking of that shows that. Iterating through arrays in JavaScript. Yes, it uses it. See this? Function show array, subarray for variable I equals 0 as long as I is less than array dot length. Increment I. Document dot write, array sub I, and document dot write break. So you could have used this exact code and it would have worked. Okay? That's what bins is. All right? So that one is how you use, there are other functions that belong to an array. Remember the dot when you say array dot length? Dot shows ownership. And it's just like inheritance. It's like this array inherits any of the lower level predefined functions that go with array. And we can find those out in, if you go to W3 Schools under the JavaScript keys there on arrays, it'll show you all the predefined functions. So we don't have to know where length comes from. It's a property of array. And so once I, over here in, once I establish this variable price equals new array subsize, this allocates an array named price and all the predefined functions that go with an array and properties, and length is one of them. And so that way I don't have to try to determine it. So I can go up here in my function price print, and I can call it whatever I want. Let's just say, I can call it print, that's what I called it a while ago, print array. So that's what I named this array. And then I have to go down with my curly braces. And now I'm ready to code it. And because I know that it's just a definite counter-controlled loop, I could actually, do you understand this right here?
To an extent. I mean,
It'll always be less than the length of the array, right?
Right.
That's as far as it goes.
That's as far as it gets, because you always want it to print out. If it goes equal to array.length, then that's going to make it one beyond the array, right?
So in yours, did you do like I less than 3? Is that what one of the original ones was? Instead of
that was, I think that was mine.
Is that one yours?
okay, because I saw that one somewhere. I didn't know whose it was. I just saw it up there.
Yeah, she did index less than 3 because she didn't use a for loop. And so she used to, oh, I think one of mine did.
I thought I saw one on there that had.
Oh. Oh. It may have been when I did it a while ago that I had counter less than 3. And it's really better to do it with the dot length. So if I go over to this, I could actually copy this line of this for loop and put it in here.
So that's just one, if you want to change the length of your array, you don't have to go down into that and say it's
right. That's correct. That's the better way to do it, because you don't have to, if you say print array dot length, then you don't have to change your function if you go up here and change the size of your array.
Yeah.
Print array length. Okay, and then we have to tell it to actually now the document dot write line. We can take it and move it up here.
You need the curly brace?
Yes, I do need the curly brace inside. There's that. Document dot write line, and I don't have a day. I can use I. And the reason we did I plus 1, because the first time through it's day Z, it would be 0. So we have to say plus 1. Do you see that, Chelsea? And clear anybody that's didn't get theirs done, if you have a question, ask. There's no stupid questions, okay? Just if you're not getting it, tell me, because you have to do this on the final, okay? You have to write a function. All right, so here, if we didn't say okay, if we ran it with just what's it going to do?
It'll print out 0.
Yeah, it'll say day 0 is. Now, what do I need to do here, Chelsea, or anybody else? Yeah, to the new array name, right? Which is print array.
2 eyes.
Oh, yeah, that won't work, will it? And what goes in here then? I, right? Yeah, I. Okay, so
we change the variable to I?
why did we? Okay, we did not have to, except it does not know these variables that are down in main when we're inside this function. So we either had to declare, we had to declare a new variable. Because once you get inside this function, it doesn't know the day, or what was the other one we were using? Counter. It doesn't know what CTR is. Okay, because it only knows CTR as counter down here because this variable is defined in this for loop right here, right? So when I make a call to price print, the only thing I'm passing is the value, or the reference, actually. Arrays are passed by reference, which means it only passes the location of those values, is what it does. And that's what it tells you. And if that's a little beyond, whenever you take Java or C++, or if you do, or more scripting, you'll see how to pass by reference. It's what we're doing. And then there's pass by value also. But here, does that explain why we had to set up a new variable?
Yeah, I just didn't understand why it was called.
Yeah.
Like, why the I was there.
Well, it's just another variable. We could have called it anything. Okay, we could have called it count or whatever.
So you can use it as the same variable as that down in there?
You mean CTR?
Yeah, I was
if you want to use CTR, you can, but you would still have to redefine it here. Now, we didn't talk about global variables. You can make a global variable, but we're not going to get into that. That's more scripting, okay? That's more for scripting class. So we're just for lack of confusion, we're going to say inside this function, we need a totally new variable than the one that's in main. So I need to do anything else besides my curly brace. I think I have to have 2 curly braces, right? And here. Now, does that look, you get that? Ready? Okay, so there wasn't a lot of coding to it. And you see, Matt, how this would really be a better practice to do it this way, because if you do it down here and just say print, you're really defeating the purpose of why we did a separate array. I mean, it's correct for me, but we want to be sure and pass the array the next one. All right, so if we, maybe I should try renaming this and running it. File, save as, and this one has the function, and then I'll post it out there. Okay, I'll save it. Hopefully it runs. We'll have to fix it if it doesn't. Okay, 17.65. Oh, it didn't. That's what yours was doing. So what's wrong with my for loop? Something's wrong. But it... It says it's what?
Missing an initializer.
Now, Does the one you have run on yours? Because when we tried to run yours,
The assignment 4 runs.
right here, A4BB Java.html, is that the right one? I thought we ran it and it did that same thing. Let me see.
That's the one that I need to take the alerts out. Because they were.
Okay, let me make sure and then I can see what I did wrong. Oh yeah, I thought I took the alert out. Oh. No, yours runs. Okay, 12.5. Okay, 0. Okay, so let's see what I didn't do that you did in yours. Yours is the function at the end. You initialized it all to 0. While price is not equal to 0. Yeah, I'm going to take these alerts out and save it. Okay. While counter is you did less than or equal to 2 instead of less than 3. That's fine. Shirt prices sub counter equals price increment counter. It looks like somewhere we're going beyond the array. Is that where you saw counter less than 3 and you thought it was a problem? Let me see. 4. 4 I. Oh, I know why. When I do I plus 1 here, that's incrementing I beyond the array length. So I did it different than you did. Let's see how you did it.
Oh, the plus. The second plus.
That's what does the second plus do? But see, your I, that's what's definitely happening is that it's going beyond the array length because I'm using I as the day counter. So why is yours working and mine isn't? Let's see. Go. Oh, that wasn't what I meant to do. Okay, so you're saying this other plus did something? What did that do? No, mine doesn't like that.
Try taking out the comma because there wasn't a comma after that second plus.
Okay. Okay. But I plus 1 plus is $sign print. Why should that make a difference? Let me see. If it does run right, then no, that didn't do it.
That's weird.
Okay, so what it's doing, it's printing out day 1, and then day 2 is
So,
undefined. It's not loading it, right?
Yeah, apparently the array is not initialized it.
But it does it down here, the very last time.
It prints it out like 3 times.
Yeah, why is it doing that? The first time, okay, it prints it out just when it calculates it once. Okay, so I've got that in the wrong place. Put 0. So down here I'm saying,
Okay, so the call to the function needs to be outside of the for loop.
that's exactly what's happening. The call to the function here, Command X, needs to be here. Huh, that's what it is. Because I put it in the same place that the document.writeLine, which was writing 1 day at a time. So here, see, I bet you had yours outside, didn't you? Where is your call?
Yep, outside the for loop.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's what it was. Okay, let's.
This is what gets me hung up whenever I code. It's always the syntax.
Syntax, and this was the logic though. This was actually considered a logic problem because the call was in the wrong place. Let's make sure that was it. Let's see. 17.65. Yep, that was it. 12.50 and then 0. Okay, everybody see what the problem was? I had put the call right where the document.write line is. Well, before it, like that worked with Matt's way of doing it because he was printing out he was calling that function just to print that one position as soon as it got into that position. Follow? So if we want to load the array first, which is what this does, then I want to use a for loop. If I'm going to use a for loop in my function, then I've got to wait till the array has all 3 positions loaded. So that's why when it printed out up here where I saved where is it? This one. See, it would, after day 1, it printed the whole array out, and there was nothing in here. Now, had I initialized my array to zeros, it wouldn't have said undefined. It would have printed 0, 0, right? So then, the next day, it printed the 2, but it still had undefined in here. So after it went through my array 3 times, it did it. Make sense? Yours still doesn't work? Where is yours on Google? But I mean, do you have it on the Google Drive?
Oh, no.
Yeah, put it there and we'll open yours up. Anybody else have one that they can't get to work that they want us to look at? This is really the best way to learn how to a lot of logic is troubleshooting. And you have to have lots and lots of patience. And you can't get mad and throw anything at the computer. And even if you've been working on it 36 hours, I used to do that on conversion programs, and my eyes would, back then, that was when they didn't have contacts that you wear that long, but I did. I wore them. And then, that's why I can't see now. But then you would be sitting there and you would be thinking, oh, I got it. And change one little thing. Oh, it still wasn't right.
Throws out the whole program.
Yeah, and everybody's waiting on you to figure it out. Because the next morning when everybody comes to the bank, that's where I was working at. I had to have all the data converted. It was quite challenging. Okay, so did you get yours?
It's so much nicer when it's a syntax error.
Yeah, syntax are easier to find, especially nowadays. We didn't have debuggers. We didn't have that for COBOL.
I know. I was trying to get mine to work. I stuck it in that JavaScript lint.
And is that there was a couple of them? Kat told us another one on something online. Is that the one she told us that was online and you could put it through JavaScript lint?
That's where I found that what we were doing with the array, putting the brackets in, that was causing the program to go, what are you thinking?
Yeah, when the other night or last night, I was using square brackets instead of the rounded parentheses, and it won't do that either.
Use parentheses at all. You
No.
have to put the name of whatever it is, and it'll pass as an array.
It passes an array, and I was putting the bracket in there, I think, or something. Okay, you got yours there, Chelsea?
I had to resave it and add something different.
Okay, so yours is here.
Another problem I had, I forgot to increment my counter on one of my loops.
And then it just stays there.
So here the end of the help me.
They help me? Okay. This one right here?
Yep.
Okay, let's try it. Say oh, it's locked but not changed. What would you like to do with this file? I'll view it and then see if it'll let me save it. File, save as. Go over here. CC fix. Oh, it won't let me. Let me see if I can save it somewhere else. ACC, okay. Should let me go to desktop with it. All right. So you've got a problem right here, it says.
Hey, that shouldn't be a comma, that should be a
right
semicolon.
here. Right here. Should be a semicolon. There you go. That's probably the whole thing right there. See, several pairs of eyes always helps, and that's what I would always try to do after those number of hours was get somebody to look over my shoulder, say, "What is it?" And they'd find one little period.
I had an issue with my document. Wasn't on my document dot write lines. I had commas in the wrong places.
And then it gives you commas. Boy, you think syntax? Oops, it's still not going to print out for us for some reason.
One of the loops.
One of your loops, there's something wrong.
Like I said, I had the same problem.
Okay, so you got that. Okay, here's where you have to say, but this shouldn't keep you from printing. It should be +1. Oh, that's right, plus, and there's that comma again. What else have you got messed up where it's not going through the loop? You don't need this day one now that we're printing it out up above, so we don't need the day, right? Because we called it I, we used the I. Variable, counter equals 0, counter less than size, increment counter. And then you're incrementing it there. Price, print, price. Okay, let's see if that fixed it. There's a stopping after it prints original price. So in this loop, it comes down through here, it prints this, and then it stops. Or we think it does. Let's see. Let me see if it gets here. Original. Okay, that's going to tell me if it gets there. Oh, it did get to there.
Wait, is it calling to the...
Says the print price is not, or yeah, print price is not defined, but I don't have that as print price anywhere. I have it as price print.
Okay, that's what it is. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, it did go. It did execute through your loop, but
Okay, so
it's saying right here, price print. So price, and let me go up here. Price print. You called the function. What does it say? What does your error say? What are you putting it in?
Now it's just undefined.
What is?
I got the original price to work. I'm slightly dyslexic and I switched the numbers around. Where it says print price, it should say price print. In my document.write line.
Right here?
Yeah, it's the other way.
Well, up here it's...
price print.
Oh, it's print array is what it's supposed to be. Because it should match this array, not the name of the function. Let's see. It's going to go through there every time now. There, now it's working. So I can say 12.50. That was all it was, because you did not have the, you didn't have the name of the array right here. You had the name of the function right here. Okay. All right. Okay, anybody have any questions? Because I won't be here on Thursday. If you want to come and work with somebody, but y'all don't seem to work together, so I had students do that before. So otherwise, if you need to get in contact with me, email me. I try to check all the time of my emails, at least every couple days if you don't hear from me. I will be here Monday evening at about 4 o'clock, so in my office. So if anybody does want to come in, if you're having you just couldn't get me on the phone or whatever, or on the email, you're welcome to come back by my office. Otherwise, I will see you guys on Tuesday.
I think I'm getting the ideas behind all of it.
Okay.
But I can't. The syntax keeps tripping me out.
Tripping you? Do you want me to look at yours?
Well, mine was pretty shoddy. I get the idea of it, but like, can you tell me how exactly I have to type it out for an array to work?
Well, that would be easiest by looking right here.
Okay.
Because you're talking about JavaScript, right?
Yeah. Because every time I Google it, and everything that pulls up always says something different.
Well, like, that's why I gave you those ones that I liked in there. But like this one, okay, his function's at the bottom. So which part are you talking about the array? Inside the function, or how to pass it?
Like just initializing it and then passing it.
Okay, so to initialize it up here, and this is loaded in this one is loaded in Evernote, so you can look at this. Is how you initialize it. Whatever you call the array is here, and this is standard in JavaScript. New array subsize, and that has to be a capital A. If you forget the capital A when you allocate memory, it won't recognize it. This has to be initialized somewhere up here if you're going to use a variable. You can put a number there.
Yeah.
Then here, see, you could have said size also, while counter. So this is initializing it to 0. So if I had have done that loop, then I wouldn't have got those undefined on that one, because it would have at least printed out at 0 instead of undefined. Okay? And then down here, when I call my array, here's my function. So I have to have a function named output prices, and then I'm passing the array that I allocated up here, shirt prices. See, I called it shirt prices. I'm passing it, and I don't have to put any kind of array brackets there or anything. I just pass it like that. So now I look down at my function, output prices, and he used the same array name here. I didn't, because it's a new function. You can do it either way. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
So if this is a different name in some of the examples that you see than the one you're passing, it doesn't care, because it knows that this is an array. And so it's passing it into a placeholder.
Okay. So
it can be anything you want to call it. But whatever you call it here, then you have to say .length to use. Otherwise, you could say, as long as I is less than 3, because you know it's a 3 in this case. But it makes more sense to always say .length, because then whatever you change your array to up here, it's going to know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, and this is the example that I gave you all in Evernote when I went to that website, and then I just copied that. Okay. So that's the one that we're using here. And what he did here, I+1 plus, it's saying that plus sign there says to concatenate or add this to my statement. Okay, is shirt prices sub I. Okay, plus break.
Okay, that helps.
Okay. What time is the final on Tuesday?
Same time as regular class, 9:30. What happens is during finals week is you have longer, like there's no class. They give you 2 hours. Okay, you have.
So it's from 9:30 to 11:30.
I think that's how it's set up. I didn't bring my schedule up here, but most people won't take that long. But yeah, there's not a class in here right after this class. They give you, maybe it's an hour and 45. I can't remember for sure how they do that. I think you get double class though. I think you get.
Mine was from, or my next final, or my final on Monday is from 9:30 until I think
11:15.
I don't know. Something
Probably
like, it's
2.5 hours, because you should have a double class period for your final. So this class is an hour and 15, so it should be 2.5 hours. Okay.
Yes, for my quiz grades, they're 5 and 6.
Uh huh.
I have F's for them, but I took them.
I wonder why they're not
Oh, yeah,
showing up.
that's the same thing I was going to say. Yeah, the last two quizzes were
I
zeros.
looked at my grades and it said that there were no
Zeros, yeah. It must have not imported the grade. Okay. Well, I will go back and check that then. Thank you for bringing that up. I wondered because I knew the ones that usually do them they didn't show anything, but I hadn't checked everybody's. I probably would have realized.
I also need to look at my assignment 3 grade.
Okay, let's see. Was that the one you told me to
Yeah,
look at
last week,
earlier
yeah.
last week? Okay, let me do it right now so I don't forget what time. Yeah, I've got 5 minutes. They can wait.
They can wait.
Yeah, they can wait for 5 minutes. Yeah. I'm not supposed to be here by 5 till 11. But, okay, so your grade. Go here, RC. Oh, I forgot to stop this. Hold on.